Welcome back, and thanks again for joining us. Nate Schoemer here at the Tom Rose School for Professional Dog Trainers. And in this video, Tom Rose is going to be showing you guys exactly how he likes to teach his students the broad jump. This is an exercise that is required part of the AKC obedience routine. And it is considered a very difficult exercise, but if you do it the right way and you take the appropriate steps, you will find success with your dogs. Let's get started.
Talk now about doing the broad jump, and we would begin with one board, two boards, three boards with running with the dog. In this case, the dog has already been through jumping all the way up to 4 boards. So now we're going to show where we would progress at this point. So she's going to do what we call a breakaway. She's going to run with the dog, and this is too many boards for her to jump with the dog. If she only had 1 or 2, she could jump with the dog. And this, she can't. So what she's going to do is run with the dog, go close to the jump, and as soon as the dog lands on the other side, she's going to turn left, not right, and go around. We'll explain why later. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Jump.
Good. Really nice jump. But now she turned to the right, and as a result, the dog clipped the jump and cut this corner. That's why we're going to go to the left, because normally the handler would be on the left, and when we show the dog, the handler would be on the left. So we want the dog to cut more to the right, away from the handler. Okay, after we've done that a few times and the dog is jumping correctly, then we can do what's called a breakaway, in which case the dog's going to be a sit-stay here, handler's going to be here, and she's going to tell the dog to jump. And as the dog is jumping, or leaving the jump, she's going to be cutting again to the left and going this way. Okay? Go all the way to the end of the leash. Okay, now you're going to say jump, and you're going to run towards me.
Jump.
Good. Okay, good. And again, we have a bit of a problem. I don't know what happened in the background, but the dog is cutting much too much to the right. Okay, once we've done this several times, we're ready to make a little test to see what the dog is doing. So this time she can unclip the buckle, do exactly the same thing, and she's still going to run with the dog. Okay?
Jump.
Okay. And the dog performed that correctly. Now she's going to repeat the exercise, but this time she's going to make an attempt to stand still, which is a big step. It's really hard for the dog. So if she's standing here, the dog may decide that they really don't want to jump. Or they may jump and hit, may jump and come to you. So as you're watching the jump, if the jump looks good, then you could kind of step out and bring the dog to you. If the dog seems to be jumping wrong, coming crossways, then again you want to cut across and go that way.
Sit. Sit. Jump.
Okay.
Good.
So even though we have a problem with the dog cutting it, just for purposes of instruction, this time remain standing and then call the dog to you. So as the dog jumps, instead of moving, you're just going to turn and call the dog to a sit front in front of you.
Sit.
This may create a problem because the dog's really not ready for it because he's cutting so bad.
Jump. Front.
Good.
Good.
Okay. Basically, that's all the steps, but that also supports the argument as to why you want to always cut left. Because I don't know if in your prior training or whatever, you've been letting the dog come to the right, and so now when she formalized it, the dog cut over and really didn't do a qualifying jump. So what she needs to do is go back and do a lot of breakaways where she's starting here, telling jump, and then running towards that exit sign over there to the left. And you could throw a ball if you wanted.
Sit.
Now you're only going to throw the ball while the dog is airborne, not before. I got a feeling she's going to come to you. So while the dog is in the air, you throw the ball.
Jump.
There you go. The reason we do that is if you threw the ball before, the dog might cut it, If you throw off or after, the dog's liable to turn around. But if you throw it in the air, the dog is powerless to change direction.
Heel.
Now we were talking about some other methods to do this. One would be a stick jumping.
Jump.
Good.
Jump. Good. Sit.
Now try a higher jump, put her on a stay. Don't make her go back and forth though, because we don't want to get them in the habit of going both ways.
Heel. Sit.
Okay, hold it up a little higher. Go ahead and stand up straight. There. Okay.
Jump.
Good. Whoops.
Sit.
Okay. Now you can do the same thing since she's doing it over the broad jump. Now with the stick, as we mentioned with the jumping shoe, we can direct where the dog jumps. So since we want the dog to jump away from us, we can hold the stick at this type of an angle. If we want the dog to jump closer to us, we'd hold in this angle. But to force him over to the side, we can hold it like this.
Jump. Good. Jump.
Okay. And this dog is even choosing to jump the higher part of the stick.
Heel.
But once we do this a few times, we will have redirected the dog to the outer part of the jump. The biggest problem with some dogs jumping the broad jump is they're going fast. We want as much height as possible. But the higher the dog travels when he jumps, the more likely he is to clear it. You think a human, when they're doing a broad jump, they don't need height, they need distance. And in this case, if the dog's going fast, he's going to get distance and not height, and we're liable to have problems. So we want to get a good loft over the jump if we can get it. Okay.
Sit.
And remember, you can throw the ball while he's in the air and always throw towards the door.
Jump.
Okay, a little late on the throw. It won't take long before she'll realize the ball always goes that direction. Good. So the purpose for the bar jump is to get loft, to get height over the jump. And this dog's doing a very nice job. The stick jump would be my preference. Another thing I can do with the stick jump is, this is a little bit longer than the stick I would like to use, but I could hold the stick like this, and as the dog is approaching the jump, all I got to do is that, and I can do it at the last minute. The dog would crash into it if he didn't get enough loft. If I do that, then he knows that's going to happen, he'll jump high. Reviewing again, we begin with a broad jump with one board jumping with the handler, two boards jumping with the handler, maybe three boards jumping with the handler. Maybe at that point, it's time to do where we put the dog on a sit stay, go to the side, have the dog jump, and then we cut to the left. Then pretty soon we're going to have the handler stay still, put the dog on a stay, have him jump, chase the ball to the left. Finally, and not too many times, even once we're finished, we'll have the handler stay still, have the dog jump, and simply turn and call the dog to us. We wouldn't want to do that too many times, because if we do, the dog's liable to expect that. If he does expect it, then he's going to have a tendency to cut the jump, the very thing we're trying to avoid. That is what you're going to do when you show the dog in AKC Open. Agility would be a different thing, it wouldn't matter. But for AKC Open, we want the dog to jump over the center, turn, and come back, have plenty of height, and totally clear the jump with a lot of height.
Thank you again for watching. I hope everyone enjoyed today's episode. As always, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. If you want to support the channel, check out my Patreon account, or if you would like to schedule a Zoom training session, those are available as well. All the information is in the description below. Thank you again, and I will see everyone next week.